You cannot cheat in the sport of boxing. Not if you're going to put on a pair of gloves and get inside that square circle and physically fight somebody, and potentially you could easily lose your life. Then to take anything which will give you enhance your performance.
I don't know. I'm just sick to death with it. I don't know what the answer is. I ain't got the answer. It's just fucked up, basically.
I'll get some news. Dillian Whyte failed a VADA test, adverse findings in his samples. What was going through your head when you were reading that statement?
Well, it's very sad, of course, that we've got another drug story on our hands.
Dillian Whyte has once again found himself at the center of controversy, and this time the backlash feels final. After failing yet another drug test, the boxing world didn't hold back, and rightfully so. This isn't a minor slip-up or a miscommunication. It's a blatant repeat offense that could have endangered.
If you've done it once, then you got caught out, then you do it again. It can't be contamination, can it? Because you've been caught twice for doing the same thing. So if it was me, take his license away. You know, because you cannot cheat in the sport of boxing.
Another fighter's life. Among those leading the charge against Whyte is former world champion Duke McKenzie, who didn't mince his words. He slammed Whyte with brutal honesty, calling out the disgrace of cheating in a sport as dangerous and unforgiving as boxing. And McKenzie wasn't alone. Boxing has rules.
He's been failed two previous drug tests. The second one, he was exonerated. So let's not jump to conclusions. But it's not good for him, and it's not good for the sport.
Rules for a reason. This isn't football. This isn't tennis. Every punch in the ring has the potential to permanently damage, even kill. That's why drug testing exists, to protect fighters from facing chemically enhanced opponents who've gained unfair advantages. In that context, Duke McKenzie's anger is more than justified. It's a rallying cry for the future of the sport. Even legendary columnist Colin Hart, usually a voice of reason and nuance, couldn't find a way to spin this situation positively. When your name is repeatedly linked to failed drug tests, the damage is irreparable. Whether you're eventually exonerated or not, public perception doesn't wait for legal technicalities. It hardens. And for Whyte, the stain on his name has spread wide and deep. Johnny Nelson, usually composed and diplomatic, looked and sounded utterly lost when speaking on the situation. His visible frustration and
I think all this stuff's going to come out. Again, I keep being told to keep my big mouth shut until the facts come out, and Dillian Whyte right now is in the process of clearing his name. So Dillian Whyte could fight.
Fusion mirrored what most fans and pundits are feeling. Another drug scandal, more silence, no explanations, and zero accountability. Nelson asked the question on everyone's mind: how many times can a fighter cross the line before boxing finally slams the door shut? This entire episode mirrors the chaos surrounding Conor Benn not long ago, shifting narratives, delayed statements, and an eerie lack of transparency. For
fucking hell, cheating bastard. You know, that's the initial reaction. Whether it's a first fail or a third fail, that's the initial reaction. Your gut reaction is. But then obviously we don't know what he's failed for yet, and we don't know what it is. But then when it's someone that's failed 3 times, or this is the third adverse reaction,
fans, the media, and the fighters themselves, it's a circus that leaves people disillusioned and exhausted. When Eddie Hearn, the promoter closely linked to both Benn and Whyte, said he's being told to keep his big mouth shut, the alarm bells rang louder. That's not how innocence is usually defended. If there was nothing to hide, why so much silence? Why the secrecy? The fact that Hearn's walking on eggshells suggests something far more sinister. This isn't a public relations mishap, it's a credibility crisis. While Eddie tried to tread carefully, trainer Dave Coldwell didn't hold anything back. His initial reaction, cheating bastard, was raw, instinctive, and powerful. That visceral anger echoed the frustration bubbling across gyms and fan bases worldwide. Fighters, coaches, and fans are tired of this circus. It doesn't matter what banned substance.
Yeah, listen, I've always been strong on that. I've always been strong on the fact that I don't believe in giving them a second chance.
You're basically saying no 3 strikes and you're out.
No 3 strikes
and you're out. No. 1, you fail a test and gone ski.
Absolutely, because I just believe then that moving forward, people would think twice about doing it. If they think, well, you know what, I'll get a second chance anyway, you know, I might.
Since it was, or how it got there. A failed drug test is a betrayal of everything the sport stands for. Simon Jordan and Spencer Oliver also chimed in, and they didn't sugarcoat anything. They called for zero tolerance, no second chances, no soft landings. In a sport where one punch can change a man's life forever, performance-enhancing drugs are a loaded weapon. This isn't about competitive edge. It's about safety and fairness. The reality is this: boxing has no room for cheaters, especially repeat offenders. Dillian Whyte, with multiple failed tests on his record, has eroded every ounce of public trust. Allowing him to continue fighting sends the worst possible message to rising athletes. It tells them that rules are flexible, that consequences are optional, and that scandals can be managed with PR spin and legal dodges. That's why so many insiders are calling for a lifetime ban, because this isn't just about
let the penny drop that the fight could never go forward. And some of the stuff that's come out since about people being, you know, the board being sued and something, it was just a non-runner. It's crazy.
Whyte, it's about boxing's integrity. Frank Warren, never one to hold his tongue, labeled the whole debacle madness. And he's right. Instead of owning up, Whyte's camp is now discussing lawsuits and legal action against the board. That's not the move of an innocent man. That's desperation. The fact that the planned fight never went forward is further proof that this wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a calculated gamble gone wrong. Innocent fighters like Moses Itama, who train clean, fight clean, and live for the sport, are the ones suffering, while guys like Whyte dominate the headlines with scandal after scandal. And boxing promoters, sanctioning bodies, and commissions are too often caught up in politics to act decisively. But fans aren't fooled, and neither are the true legends of the sport. While Eddie Hearn stays quiet and...
Like I said, Dillian Whyte and his team will be working to what he has to do now, clear his name and make sure he convinces everybody who thinks he's guilty that he's not. And you know, we live in an age where you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Right now I think he's guilty until proven innocent. So that's his job, to make sure that, you know, effectively he's fighting for his career. Right?
Plays the wait for the facts card, the boxing community is moving on. The phrase innocent until proven guilty doesn't carry much weight when someone's failed multiple tests. People can forgive one mistake, maybe even two, but three? That's not a pattern. That's who you are. Michael Hunter echoed that sentiment with chilling clarity. 3 strikes and you're out. No spin, no drama, just cold truth. He wasn't just speaking about Whyte, he was speaking for the future of boxing. If the sport keeps bending the rules for big names or marketable fighters, what message does that send to young boxers grinding every day in the gym? Hunter's tone wasn't angry, it was weary, tired of the hypocrisy, tired of watching clean fighters get overshadowed by dirty headlines, tired of a sport that seems to reward controversy more than consistency. Tony Bellew, another respected voice in the...
But the idea, what he is he's able to fight. The idea that he is cleared beyond any reproach is for the birds.
Oh, I disagree. I mean, we're never going to agree on it. We're never going to agree on it.
Well,
but
you
when
guys
you
probably
don't
wouldn't.
receive a
You
fine,
guys probably
when
wouldn't
you
agree
don't
on it.
receive a ban, when you are cleared and not, the reality is he has not been found guilty.
Right. Right. Oh.
The fight game turned his attention to the future, and for him, that future is Moses Itama. Bellew didn't hesitate to say it. Moses represents everything boxing should be: discipline, hunger, humility, and power. Bellew compared him to Oleksandr Usyk, not stylistically, but spiritually. That same drive, that same focus, that same refusal to cut corners. Yes, Moses is still growing. He's young, maybe still raw, but he's real. No scandals, no shortcuts, just pure hard-earned skill. Bellew acknowledged concerns over size, but reminded everyone, look at Usyk. Greatness isn't measured in inches or pounds. It's about willpower, fight IQ, and the ability to rise above adversity without cheating. While Whyte clings to the remnants of a crumbling legacy, Moses is quietly building something new, something powerful, something pure. Spencer Oliver agrees, but he's not just predicting a win.
3 strikes, you're out. I mean, you know, we've crucified some people. you know, some fighters for popping one time, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? And Dillian should be no different, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what the situation is, but, you know, to be caught 3 times and, you know, just to paint the narrative that they do, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's a bad for it.
He's predicting a statement. Oliver believes Moses won't just beat YT, he'll dominate him in a way that forces the world to pay attention. This isn't just a fight, it's a passing of the torch. YT's name has become synonymous with scandal. Moses' name is fast becoming synonymous with hope. Oliver sees the moment, and he's right. This is the perfect time for Moses to seize the spotlight. YT is drowning in allegations and court documents. Moses is rising through talent, discipline, and relentless training. And Derek Chisora, he didn't even pretend to play nice. According to him, YT has 0 chance. In fact, Chisora says you've got a better shot at winning the lottery than YT does at beating Moses Itama. Coming from someone who's been through the wars in heavyweight boxing, that kind of brutal honesty carries weight. Chisora knows how tough it is to make it in this sport, and when he looks at Moses, he sees danger that YT in his current state simply can't handle. YT may have experience.
But he's the next in line. I think he's the future of the heavyweight division. I think he's an outstanding talent. I think he's got a good team around him, Ben Davison and Lee Wiley. Wiley is the brains that study everything, and they use what we call video analysis now in boxing. They're the
experience, but experience doesn't beat youth, momentum, and a clean conscience. Moses has the tools, the training, and the tenacity. He's not just favored to win, he's expected to dominate. This upcoming fight, if it even happens, is no longer just about rankings or resumes. It's about principles. It's about what boxing stands for. If Moses wins, he doesn't just beat a former contender. He buries the last chapter of a tainted era. He becomes the face of a new one, an era that prioritizes fairness, transparency, and earned respect. He becomes the symbol of everything fans still love about boxing. But what if YT pulls off a shocker? What if somehow he silences the critics with a stunning performance? It's unlikely, but if it happens, it deepens the controversy. Does one big win erase a mountain of scandal? Or does it confirm what fans have feared all along, that the sport still rewards the wrong?
Come and give it everything, because he knows it's last chance saloon for him. He needs the victory here. So, look, we find out just how good Moses Itama is, I think, on the 16th of August when he boxes Dillian Whyte, because I think he wins it and wins it in style. But everyone they put in front of him so far is just dismantled. I think this kid's going to go on and...
One kind of fighter, mentally. Moses is focused and fearless. YT enters this bout, carrying the burden of disgrace and doubt. One man has everything to gain, the other everything to lose. And when Simon Jordan went toe-to-toe with Eddie Hearn on this issue, the gloves came off. Jordan delivered the knockout line of the year, cleared beyond reproach. That's for the birds. His tone, his fire, his refusal to be fed scripted PR jargon. Jordan said what every frustrated fan was thinking. This isn't a matter of technicalities. This isn't courtroom drama. This is about the truth. And the truth is, Dillian Whyte has failed 2 tests. No excuses. No distractions. The damage is done. Jordan's words hit harder than any punch YT has thrown lately. They represent the frustration coursing through the veins of every fighter who trained clean, every coach who plays by the rules, and every fan who still believes boxing can be great again. Because this isn't just about Dillian Whyte, it's about every name that comes next. If the sport doesn't draw the line now...
Boxing a guy who's 24 years old, who's got his always faculties right, getting trained by one of the best trainers in the United Kingdom. And then, mate, it's like, you got more chance of winning the lottery than you beating that Moses Itama, let's be honest.
When will it? Will it take someone getting seriously hurt before the rules are finally enforced? Accountability has to mean something, and if YT walks away from this with nothing more than a slap on the wrist, then what's the point of the rules in the first place? At the end of the day, this fight, this moment, is bigger than 2 men in a ring. It's about who we trust to carry boxing into the future. Moses Itama, young and hungry, represents the sport's hope. YT, tainted and tired, represents its mistakes. So who are you backing? The rising powerhouse building his legacy with hard work and heart, or the fading figure trying to salvage a reputation buried under scandal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This fight is about more than belts. It's about boxing's soul.